I'm just trying to
Hello and
piece
welcome to the
together what
morning
exactly.
show. Yes, Bharat, we are live. So, good morning, Bharat. Good morning, Shubhan. Welcome to the morning show team of with RevSportz. To all the viewers also, welcome. Yesterday, LSG versus RCB match. It was a pretty low-scoring match, but the heated moment was something else. We'll talk about it when it's generally a low-scoring match. We talk about the pitch conditions, what went wrong with the batters, how the bowlers performed well. So, yes, we will come to that analysis of the game. But during
Okay.
the end of the match, there was some heated up moments between two of greatest of Indian cricketing icons, Virat Kohli, Gautam Gambhir getting into the fight. So when it's a low scoring game, we generally talk about the pitch conditions, bowling, how the bowlers went good. But that moment was something else, and I think it should not happen in some tournaments like IPL where the all these players are Indian players fighting against each other. It doesn't. They are the icons of the youth. So, what do you think of this incident that happened yesterday? Uh, it should not happen. Your thoughts on that?
Of course, but it was those were not the ideal scenes. Virat and Gautam Gambhir both have gotten into heated debates, heated altercations in the past as well during their playing days for RCB and KKR. So it's not new between the two of them. In the first leg between RCB and LSG, Gambhir did this gesture. Virat on the field did the same gesture again, and I think he went about with Naveen Ulak when Naveen came out to bat, and from there it again started. Whatever clip I saw, it was there. It's still there out there on social media, and Virat Kohli was seen showing his shoe to Naveen, which I felt was a bit wrong gesture from a very senior cricketer. And then Naveen has also had his past with such altercations in other leagues as well. So Naveen, being an Afghan Pathan, he also gave it back to someone who doesn't hold back. And from there it all started. And then after the post match, uh, Kyle, they again went about Naveen and Virat again went about in the handshake section. And after that, Kyle Mayers wanted to ask something to Virat Kohli. Gambhir took him away, and again there was this heated exchange. So not the ideal scenes. Things. I think, given that Kohli and Gambhir, such senior cricketers and guys in cricket world, I think they should have handled this better. But two Delhi boys can't help it.
The Pathan.
Two Delhi boys and a Pathan, yes. And they both have been fined. I think fine has been imposed on both Virat Kohli and Gautam Gambhir, but these fines might not be such great I would say punishment for them, but the image that they are setting, they give to the fans, young fans, because whatever Kohli does, a young boy who's just starting to play cricket, it has in his mind, yes, Kohli did this, so I can also do this. Because when in his local para game or the club game, he is getting into a fight, he might think of this moment, yes, Kohli did that, so I also can do this. But at that level and this level, if you start all this with antics at the very raw age, I think it doesn't help you go to that Kohli level. What do
Re-
you think, man?
Remember our para football fight, Rohan? It was
Yeah,
similar. It was similar yesterday.
exactly. And these para level, club level tournaments try to follow what these big stars are doing on the field, and I think this at this lower level, these all these antics doesn't help them to grow to that Kohli level or Gambhir level. So, what do you think about this incident, Bharat?
Yeah, when I watched the videos and all, it definitely looked very bad. Some ex-player just showing his shoe after that, all the all the fight that one ended up seeing, spat.
mm,
This definitely doesn't look good on and hopefully somewhere at least Kabir and Kohli. I don't know if it is not in 2023, somewhere at least 5 years down the line, somewhere they would patch up, because
mm,
this happened for over a long period of time, not just in terms of what we have seen on videos and all. There have been speculations, a lot of rumors that things are not really good between those two. These are two, as Subhain said, these two are senior cricketers. So,
mm,
some point you expected a sort of calm, at least a little bit of calmness. Even I understand that there will be passion on the field, there will be fights. It's happened even in not just in international cricket, it's happened even in junior cricket or in other
mm,
sports. We've seen it in other sports, but these are experienced cricketers. At some point, they
mm.
expect a little bit of calmness, a little bit of maturity. Uh, Hopefully, that would be the case. In the years to come, they would at least patch up at some point and it would get better.
Exactly, and
Right.
heated up moments does happen. Sledging is also okay, but throwing shoes, these are something extra that we don't want because Virat Kohli, he has been the captain of the Indian side. Uh, Gautam Gambhir has been leading his side, and he's also a member of the parliament. So they hold such powerful positions to influence the mass as a whole. So they has to be more. They have to be more responsible with what they do on the screen, on the big screen. Yes, Shubhan. Shubhan, you are on mute.
Yes, yes. So I have been always supportive of Kohli being aggressive on the field
Mm,
against like world beaters like Australia or England at their
mm,
home. I have been always supportive of that, but in IPL, it's a very double-edged sword because uh,
mm,
I know it gets heated out there. You are playing with all your adrenaline out there, and sometimes it is tough to handle those moments in the heat of the moment, especially when you are going against someone whom you have had a past with, and someone who is equally as aggressive as you can be
mm.
on the field. So there's always that battle of ego also.
Yeah.
And it triggers that extra bit sometimes. But Kohli, Gambhir, again I'm repeating the same thing with these two being senior guys.
Mm,
I think both Kohli and Gambhir tried to talk about it also in the photo that we just saw.
mm,
Kohli was explaining what exactly happened, why he did what he did to Naveen out there, and even
mm,
after there's a clip where Kohli is talking to KL Rahul after the entire incident has happened, and he was trying to explain Rahul what exactly happened, and Naveen passes by and again looks at Kohli and says something. To which Kohli says, "पागल है क्या? अभी खत्म हो गया फिर से बात चल रहा है." It's like
mm,
that also. So uh, Naveen also being a Pathan, being that hot-blooded guy, sometimes it gets difficult. It gets difficult because even if Virat is trying to calm down, Naveen will say something which will trigger that anger again. Or if Naveen is trying to calm down, Virat being that Virat Kohli on the field, he will say something from the slip or mid off or cover region wherever he is standing.
mm,
So it is difficult to handle such situations, but yeah, I mean, we have seen in football, we have seen worst of tackles. Yeah,
yeah.
Zidane hitting Materazzi is something which straight away comes to mind. But there have been so many incidents, so many trigger points in football, in other sports where it has
Exactly.
ended
So
up
these are
in
the
in, in
earliest days
ugly
of
scenes.
football.
In
Yeah.
ugly scenes, not verbally but physically as well. But
Mm,
thankfully, it was just a verbal altercation between Gambhir, Kohli, and Naveen yesterday.
exactly. And the one thing that I would love to share from this one is that I was searching for the social media, and the social media reacts to this in a I bipolar way. One would say it shouldn't have happened, and one takes the fun out of it. Yeah, Kohli, yeah, yeah. Someone I saw someone was tweeting, अब नवीन उल हक को घर वापस जाना होगा. So So these are the things that make these things sensitive. So I think these big
No,
stars
no,
should
but
be.
what's happening with Naveen on social media? He had to turn off all his comments on Instagram.
Mm.
He's receiving abuses. I mean, Kohli and Naveen both are adults. They know what they are doing there. Kohli has been fined 1.5 or 1.7 crore,
Mm.
100% of his match
Mm.
fee. Gautam Gambhir the same 100% of his match fee, and Naveen 50%. So they have been handed fine. Match referee will deal with it. Has dealt with it. So don't go there and abuse Naveen Ulak.
Mm.
He's just a player. It happened on the field. Let it stay on the field. Both
And these
Naveen
days,
and
social
Kohli are
media,
adults.
exactly. And these days, social media fighters are waiting for such moments to go and fire their guns. And well,
Yeah,
well, coming back to the match, Bharat, it was a pretty, yeah, the sporting part of the match. So it was a pretty low scoring game. Yesterday in the morning show, also Shubhan was telling, yes, Lucknow pitch, it will be a low scoring game, something like 150, 155 ish, but it was 120 ish. So your thoughts? Uh, were you expecting a score like this, or it was below your expectations? And uh, RCB successfully defended it. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, one has to remember because what all happened after the match. So one has to remember what happened actually in the match. So yeah,
Mm.
basically it was a two-page track, So on a two-page track, 127, 126, whatever it was a pretty good score. And KL Rahul also had that quad or hamstring problem, and that really went against LSG. Yeah, you might argue with me
Mm.
about KL Rahul strike rate, but on that kind of a pitch, KL Rahul's game was pretty much near perfect for those conditions. So the LSG missed him. They lost his pair of wickets in the power play and also in the middle overs. After that, it was always going to be tough for them to chase
Mm.
down 126, 27. RCB obviously bowled well, but to 127, I guess if in those conditions, LSG definitely needed their captain if they wanted to steer them to victory.
Yes. And Shubhan, scoring 126, batting first, and in a pitch like this, and defending it. So that's a bigger challenge to defend something 126. So how would you rate RCB's bowling performance yesterday? And I think all of them got at least one wicket, the bowlers.
yeah.
And you
I
are
think
talking about
Hazelwood's
yeah.
Hazelwood's inclusion played a big role. He straight away came, bowled a good over, then switched sides, came from the other end, picked up a wicket, and that gave momentum to RCB. Of course, other bowlers also bowled well. Siraj being Siraj picked up
Mm.
wicket in the second ball, I guess, and then Hasaranga was also there. So everyone chipped in, and it was a good
Mm.
title defense. I think RCB in the back of their mind knew that it was a tough pitch. It was not going to be easy. And if they bowled well, I think that was a defendable total. And as Bharat mentioned, KL Rahul in such wickets is a very handy batsman to have. He
Mm.
scores in such conditions. If he scores at a strike rate of 120, 130, take your team home or at least closer to the total, then it works wonder for
Mm.
LSG, and it has worked well for
Mm.
LSG in the past as well in Lucknow. So I think that injury took a
Mm.
lot out of LSG's batting department, especially when it is KL Rahul who knows such conditions, who knows how to tackle such conditions. And plus, I think if he has done his quad, then it's going to be very tricky for Rahul to. I don't see him play in this IPL again if it is a quad injury. Although he
Yes.
came out
Just
to bat, but
just a point on Hazelwood. I think he would add a lot to that RCB side. They don't have a someone who's tall bowler who hits the deck. At least till now, they didn't have one. So Hazelwood will add a lot because he hits the deck hard and his control is really good.
Mm.
In that sense, and also I would say I hope the pitches in Lucknow get better. These two pace tracks, honestly, in relation to T20 cricket, I agree. 160, 170 scores, they're fine. But when 126 meets 121 or 8 or whatever, it doesn't look good. I hope the tracks get better
But
for
Bharat,
slightly
don't you think
better.
126 was feasible? However
I
bad
don't.
the pitch is.
I still think that wicket was pretty tough. 126. You can say it was chaseable, but it was still a very tricky target. 126 meets 108. It doesn't look good when it comes to T20 cricket
Hmm.
because T20 cricket is about entertainment, fours and sixes, more about fours and sixes. So it's definitely T20 cricket is not made for me. I started watching cricket in 91, 92. It's made for Generation Z. So you need a little more entertainment. Hopefully, the tracks will get better.
Exactly. And Shubham, DC versus GT today, and your DC to stay alive. I think they have to. Yes, they have to win, but they do they have any chance of making it to the playoffs if they win all from here, or
They
they out?
have, they have, they are still mathematically alive, but they will need to win everything going
Hmm.
forward, which is, I think, an impossible task, in my opinion, given the kind of squad DC have or the kind of combination they are playing.
Hmm.
But I think GT will be too good for DC today.
Okay, Bharat, your expectations from the match, GT
Yeah,
versus
these
DC?
they have a very good all-round attack, as you notice. They have good pace bowlers, they hit the deck fast bowlers. They have Noor Ahmad and
Hmm.
Rashid Khan. Spinners there. Abhinav Manohar is coming good for them. With those little cameos as
Hmm.
well. So it's just about Gills and Millers of the world. So they have a lot of bases covered, and they look like a champion side again. It is champion material. They look like. The only thing that can go in favor of the laggards is law of averages might go in favor of DC or something like that. They've lost a lot of matches, so somewhere they might win one. You never know because see what happens is when you lose 4, 5, 6 matches or eight,
Hmm.
you have nothing to lose. You just come out and play on that day. You just
Hmm.
uh, play well without anything to lose and win. So that might happen with DC. I'm just saying from that point of view, but it does look difficult for them. Sorry, DC, I said, yeah, it does look
Hmm.
difficult for DC from DC's perspective.
Okay, so to get the win, what should DC focus on before we end, Shubham?
I think the domestic batsmen that has been the main problem. They need to come good and score some big runs if they want to go hard against GT. I think that they should do that.
Okay, so final thoughts on this, Bharat. What extra does DC need to get this victory apart from the law of average and uh, getting their backs stuck to the walls? So, yes,
As I
Bharat.
said, they have nothing. They just have to go and play freely, play with freedom. They have nothing to lose.
Hmm.
Obviously,
Hmm.
no one is thinking that DC would go on to qualify for playoffs at the moment. So just have to go there and play with freedom, express themselves. It looks like a cliche, I agree, but it's true. Just when you are going through a patch where you're losing a lot of games, just
Hmm.
have to somehow find the erase button and go and play with freedom and hope for the best. That's all DC can do. Yeah, the domestic batters have not been in form and all that stuff, but it finally comes down to just expressing yourself and hoping that it would work.
Exactly. And in other sports, in boxing men's world championship yesterday, Muhammad Husamuddin won 5-0 and Varinder Singh lost 5-0. So that has been 1-1 for India yesterday in the Tashkent, Uzbekistan. So we'll have lots to discuss again tomorrow in the morning show. So thanks, Bharat. Thanks, Shubham, for joining. Let's hope we have a good game tonight, and we
Yeah.
come back tomorrow with the
We'll
more discussions. Yeah,
more on the
thank you.
field. We'll talk more about on the field performances than off
Yeah,
the field.
we hope we talk more about the match games perspective and not other antics. So, thank you, Shivan, for joining. Thank you, Bharat.
Thank
Thank you.